Why are you looking at me like that?
What are you doing?
Our intro music.
That's not what it sounds like.
Yes, it does. 1, 2, 3.
Anyway, did we start?
Yes. Oh, I just coughed into the mic. I'm sorry, y'all.
Oh my God.
This is Manny.
And this is Shawn. Welcome back to another episode of the Mas Podcast.
Mas, dame mas. Yes, welcome back. Pleasure to have you all aboard. All aboard.
We hope your week has been well.
I do too. How have you been since our last gathering of pod recording?
I've been good. I've been good. Work has been very busy. As you know, we're about to go on vacation soon. So I'm trying to wrap up some things. This project that I'm currently working on is pretty massive. So just trying to get through that. How have you been?
4 more days. Oh, wait. Well, 4 more working days. Wait. Anyway,
It's fine.
Math is hard. I've been good. I've been okay. You know, work is busy. I have a therapy session next week, I think. So that's going to be awesome. Always good to have a therapy session.
I had a therapy session this week.
What's nice?
Yep. Good.
We're going to give y'all a mental health episode. Just don't know when yet.
Yeah, I just don't know when. Because mental health is very important.
Very important in this household. I think we've grown to have a very strong appreciation.
We have. Very much so.
Well, in the spirits of introducing ourselves to our listeners a little bit more, for those who may or may not know us, or even those that know us and might not know us that well. That sounded like an algebra problem. Anyways, today we're going to go talk about food, because who doesn't like food?
I mean, I work out to eat.
So. I work out to eat. Exactly. So today we're going to share with you what our favorite food is. And I'm going to toss it over to you, Shawn.
Thank you. My favorite food, I mean, there's so much to choose from.
Yeah.
But I would say pizza is definitely up there. Southern food, because I'm from North Carolina. Southern food. Food.
We're gonna feud with the food.
So you know, that good old soul food, definitely up there, and Latin cuisine.
Now, did you always like Latin, or?
No, because I wasn't introduced to it until I moved to Florida. For obvious reasons, I grew up in the South.
Collards and mac and cheese.
Yes, all day, every day. But I have a deep appreciation for chicken and rice, mofongo.
Okay, it was one food item. You're like listing a whole menu.
Okay, I thought it was our favorite food items.
Oh, I did.
Yeah. Okay, I was just making sure.
My bad.
But I'll just kick it off to you now. What are your favorite food items?
Mine is definitely Latin food. Love me some rice and gandule, arroz con gandule, pernil, Christmas time. Can't come sooner. You know, my mom has spoiled us though, because she cooked. We went away for 4th of July, and she cooked rice and all that good stuff.
And your dad?
Oh, my dad's always on the grill. He should open up a barbecue restaurant. Just retire from work.
I love when your dad cooks.
There's always going to be plenty.
Plenty.
But that's pretty much it. Or desserts. I love dessert.
I mean, this is a house where we usually buy crumble cookies every week. Not every week. We've kind of cooked.
Yeah, this week we're terrible. But we're not. And I'm not tipping you. Sorry.
And there's always ice cream.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move into our pod today.
Yeah.
We have a couple of episodes.
A couple of topics.
We have a couple of topics. One of them, it could be a little spicy, but not in that kind of spicy.
I don't know what you mean.
Stay woke, Sean.
Oh, okay. Hint, people, if you didn't get it from the title of this episode, which I'm not sure what that'll be it.
Stay woke. Apparently, that's what they're telling us in Florida.
Anyway, so first, I'm going to do a little segment about what I've been watching, which kind of ties into the topic that we'll be going into today. I'm continuing to watch She-Hulk. It's continuing to be great. I have seen the last 2 episodes. The 3rd episode featured Meg Thee Stallion. I won't say featured, but she was a guest star.
She was twerking.
She was. She played herself.
Twerking.
This last episode introduced a funny new character who I hope to see more of in the MCU. I have also been keeping up with Game of Thrones. Finished the latest episode with that. Things continue to escalate. We have now hit a time skip. There's a new baby. They want the daughter to marry the baby, which is her brother, but it's her half brother. He's only 2 years old. She's 15. There's a lot happening in the show, but we are here.
How is this on TV in America?
Well, it's on HBO, so they can get away with some things.
Like, we protect the kid. Now we marrying kids.
Not in Game of Thrones, we don't.
Oh my.
So there's an actor on Game of Thrones. He's a black actor. His name is Steve Toussaint. I hope I got that pronunciation right. He is Valerian. He married a white woman on the show.
Wait, he's what?
Valerian. They have different families in Game of Thrones.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the actual man's ethnicity.
No, on the show, he is a black man, but he is from Valeria. So that neither here nor there.
You got our listeners fucked up if they ain't watching this. He's a black actor on the show.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's a black actor on the show.
Is he black in real life?
Yes.
Okay.
Why would he be black in real life?
I don't know. Casting is weird at times. So he's black in real life, he's black in the show.
Yes.
This Valerio thing has nothing to do with him in real life.
No, that's a part of the show.
Okay. Help me understand where we're going.
Oh, sure. I will. So on the show, there are different families. There are different last names. He is from the house of Valerian. So that is the city, the region that he's from. So that's why he's Valerian. Does that make sense?
Is it like legendary House of Escada?
Kind of, because each house has a sigil or a flag with their symbol or emblem or family crest on it.
What are their death drops like?
Death drops in Game of Thrones is literally death. Like,
so they drop dead.
Yeah, you're murdered or burned to death by a dragon.
Let's continue.
Yes, we're getting off topic. So there's been a lot of talk online.
Oh, here we
go. What?
I see where we're going.
Yes. Were you lost in the sauce?
I was lost as hell.
So, most of you know our governor, Mr. DeSantis. What?
Dictator
DeSantis has passed a bill or law, the Stop Woke Act. The reason I bring this up is because lately a lot of shows like Game of Thrones, Ring of Power, even She-Hulk have been review bombed online from people that don't like the fact that people of color or women are being highlighted in the roles that they're playing on these shows. There's a movement, it's called Get Woke, Go Broke, meaning if a company has a lot of diversity or there are black actors in roles that they feel like white actors should be in, then what they do is they either trash the show online on reviews, you know, they threaten to like have no funding or give no support to these networks or these studios that are making these shows and films, simply for the fact that they are being diverse. Let's talk about this. The actor Steve, who plays the black man on Game of Thrones,
Valerio,
came out with this statement. He says, they're happy with the dragon flying. He says of fans' willingness to accept the fantastical elements of the show's world. They're happy with white hair and violet colored eyes, but a rich black guy, that's beyond the pale.
Not to mention all the sex that happens in that show.
There's a lot of sex that happens on Game of Thrones. But it's crazy because this show is set in a fantasy setting. So there is no rhyme or reason why anyone is any race in this setting. No one is, guaranteed to be white, black, Hispanic, Asian in the show because there's no precedence for it.
Hamilton.
Like Hamilton. So the fact that people are mad that he is a main character on the show, he's a black man who's married to a white woman and is also rich and powerful, they don't like it for some reason.
I need clarification.
Yes.
Rich and powerful on the show.
On the show.
Because you're blurring the lines with the show and reality, and I'm local.
I'm so sorry.
I'm sure he's also rich.
I mean, he's an actor, and he's been in plenty of things.
Is he in real life married?
I don't know.
Okay.
I go on to say that in this country, it seems like diversity is being more accepted. People are really trying their best to diversify shows. That includes putting people of color in high profile roles or roles that, are front and center a lot of times. Because a lot of times back in the day on shows, people of color were more like background actors or they had lesser roles in shows.
I mean, still happens.
It does still happen, but we moved past that and we're trying to do better. And Hollywood has always been a place for, the tall blonde woman, the handsome, tall, dark, and handsome
Prince
man,
Charming.
The Prince Charming. But it's mostly been white people. No shade. And now it seems like we live in 2022. There's been a movement and a push for women with the Me Too movement, the BLM movement, just trying to get more diversification into media so that people of color see themselves in other roles besides what Hollywood usually puts them in. Usually, if you're Hispanic, what are you? A maid, a janitor, a mechanic,
a thug.
A thug. Like, these are the way you portray these people. And that portrayal of people seeing themselves that way and other people seeing them that way bleeds itself into the real world, where people just think that because you are Mexican American or African American that you
play the help.
You're the help. You are cleaning someone's dirty drawer somewhere. And that's just not the case. So DeSantis passed the Stop Woke Act, which
let's don't give him all the credit. Him and his colleagues
Him and his colleagues.
All the little Republican minions here in Florida.
Yes,
Because all of them deserve to get the hell out of here.
They do. So basically, for him, he defines woke as an ideology, something where you are trying to indoctrinate people to believe a certain way. Basically, believing that there are no oppressors, there are no oppressed. No one has an advantage over someone else. There's no such thing as systematic racism.
I mean, Mike Pence said no.
Mike Pence said no to what?
There's no systemic racism.
Let's not talk about him. This isn't about him. It won't be about him. But let's break down what woke really means. Woke is a term, as is defined in Merriam-Webster, originally well-informed, up-to-date. Now, an alert to racial or social discrimination and injustice. This is the way this word started out. It was used so that when someone saw something that was racially insensitive or discriminatory, it was to bring attention to it. What has happened to the word over time is that it has become a weapon for the right to use anytime they feel like people of color are attempting to silence them in a way or to change things. We can't change history. We all know what happened. So I don't understand how DeSantis, for one, believes that he can come in, change the entire educational system, which he has done here in Florida, trying to make sure that people know their place, which is why we call him Dictator DeSantis, because if you happen to disagree with him, then he brings down the full extent of his power, which I think is overreaching, because they love to talk about overreaching government.
He's one of the biggest ones.
But he is one of the biggest ones. So a couple of weeks ago, a judge here in Florida actually blocked the Stop Woke Act. In his words, the Stop Woke Act violates the First Amendment and is impermissibly vague. Judge Walker also refused to issue a stay that would keep the law in effect during any appeal by the state. Governor DeSantis is also being sued by a professor and a student group from USF.
Go Bulls!
Who also claim that this bill basically takes away your freedom of speech to have discussions about these issues, because what it does is it silences you because you can't talk about it. But at the same time, his wording in the bill is so vague that teachers don't know what they can and can't talk about. And it's the same way with the Don't Say Gay bill. And I understand that these bills, well, maybe not so much Stop Woke, but the Don't Say Gay bill, what's this other bill?
There's too many.
Yeah, there are. Oh, the critical race theory, which kind of falls in line with Stop Woke Act.
Wow, there really has been a lot. I'm sitting here.
So most of these bills only affect K through 12. And I understand that like most people don't think that's a big deal because kindergarten through 12th grade, how much are you really doing? But these kids nowadays, I feel like they go through so much more than we went through when we were kids in K through 12. When we were in school, elementary, middle, high school, for me anyway.
Yeah, you're older than.
Haha, you're funny. I didn't know any gay students. No one was out. No one was trans. We had people of different ethnicities in school, but kids today have social media. Kids today are out much younger than we were. Kids today deal with a lot more than we deal with. So having racial discussions or discussions about sexuality or discussions about pronouns all of these discussions are happening at an earlier age than when we were in school. And him trying to silence people or, you know, stop conversation from happening about these things. I understand that these things can happen outside of a classroom, but it is just one more thing that the Republicans are trying to do to silence the minority, to silence those people that already are struggling, the ones that already have less resources. Here's one more thing we're going to take from you, is your ability to talk about the things that you are going through with other people so that we have a better understanding. The whole purpose of us going to school with other people and getting to know different backgrounds and different languages and different cultures is so that we grow as a people. No one is trying to make white people feel bad about what happened hundreds of years ago. We say it all the time. If you're not a racist, shouldn't bother you. Do you have any thoughts?
Yes, you were so passionate that I was just allowing you to talk. Um, because this is a very dear subject to you, so I wanted to make sure you said what you needed to say. But the at the end of the day, what woke is to them, the Republicans, is not what woke is to the rest of us. And when I say Republicans and white people, obviously it's not everyone. As we said, if it bothers you, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then maybe that there is a problem there for you. Stop woke is just their way, in my eyes, that they see they are being disenfranchised. They feel they're being disenfranchised because, you know, this black actor took a position in the lead role where it could have gone to a white person. That's to me what I feel when they're always talking woke is what I feel they're saying. You're taking stuff away from us. And in reality, all we want is an equal playing field. We want to all be acknowledged, regardless of race, regardless of gender, regardless of sexual preference, religion. We just want to be acknowledged. But here, Dictator DeSantis just wants to keep slapping anything that may help students understand diversity. Because, yes, we can say it's only affecting K through 12, but that's where development happens. When we don't have exposure at a young age, all we're going to know is what we're being taught. And if we're not being exposed, like here I sit in a classroom, there's kids that are different from me, but we're not talking about it. You don't know no better.
Right. And little kids especially love to ask questions when they don't understand
Ooh, that's why I
something.
can't have kids. Oh, Lord have mercy. I see y'all struggling at the grocery store. I can't.
But now it puts teachers in a bad position because they can't talk about certain things with the kids for fear of, you know, being fired, which we already have a teacher shortage problem here, which we talked about in a previous pod.
Yeah, go check it out.
Mr. DeSantis's solution to that problem.
I mean, look at Hamilton. It's such a simple case. Look at Hamilton, the musical. When they started casting, the casting was, it said black and brown people,
Yep.
essentially, for lead role. And the uproar in the Broadway world was crazy, which was surprising to me because I always feel that people in musical theater are a little bit more towards the center. Um, but then again, it probably wasn't the people in the theater, it was probably the donors.
Right.
Um, that was a prime example of like a show that stood out that said, there's not a huge platform for people of color in performance, Broadway. And Lin-Manuel made it a case to all lead roles were of different cultural backgrounds. It wasn't well received. And these are the things that keep adding to that woke mentality. They feel things are being taken away. When in reality, we're just trying to create a level playing.
Yeah. Diversity is not a bad word. When you give people a different perspective, it enlightens people. They can learn from this. They're alt right. or the MAGA extremists are using woke as a weapon. When they say woke, all they're really saying is we don't want diversity. We don't like this change. We don't like what's happening in this country because you see a world that you don't identify with because I don't know any other way to say it, is that as much as you say that this isn't about race, it's about race. And as much as people tell Black people, like, hey, everything isn't about race, everything is about race because they make it about race. We're out here just trying to live our lives, right? During 2020, when the BLM movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, was in full effect, and we saw the protests and we saw peaceful protests, and we would see riots that happen throughout this country. Instead of talking about the peaceful protest and, talking about the concern of the Black community, what do we go to? These people are nothing but looters, thugs, anarchists. They destroy neighborhoods. That's what they saw. They didn't see the heartbreak of people dealing with being afraid to go anywhere just because they were Black. And it's not like it stopped after 2020. It has continued.
Gone worse.
It's gotten worse, if anything. I don't know how many Black people we saw, and there are plenty that didn't get a headline, killed by police or killed by a neighbor, or just for being Black, just for being in a neighborhood.
And that's what things like this, like the woke act, critical race theory, even though they're like, oh, this schools, people take it. They're empowered by it.
Right.
And though you may say it's not for this, people interpret it as such. And that's where, like you said, people become weaponized and start doing things that aren't appropriate, such as murdering people in cold blood because they saw them running in a neighborhood.
Right. I mean, the professor from USF pretty put it well. Like, the whole purpose of college is to have open discussion and experiences. If we can't talk about race, if we can't talk about the differences and, explore other people's views on a subject, then you are really limiting these kids. Not that you're not already doing that from K through 12, because like you said, if you don't ask questions, if you don't become well-rounded, then you get put out in the world and you see different people and you don't really know how to respond to that. You only know either what you're taught at home, which a lot of them are taught to not see different people in the same light as if you had a well-rounded experience. And I know that's not everyone's case. I know that some people break away from that. They grow up, they become their own person. But kids are really, they're like sponges. They soak up what's around them. So if you talk bad about people of color in your home, you don't think your child's going to pick that up?
Yeah, and parents like, yeah, with the woke, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I'm behind DeSantis on that. Like, you're just putting that indoctrination in the child. And not to get off topic here, but we watched a show called Big Brother, which I think kind of falls in here. There was recently a house guest that said some things that were racially inclined. And, I'm not making excuses for him, but he was one of those. He was Mormon. He grew in a very small conservative city.
He was very sheltered.
He was sheltered. Schooling, obviously, in this area did not provide adequate diversity. And it affects the way he thinks and talks. And that shouldn't be an excuse, 100%. But it just goes to show you when you're not in it at a young age and developed, understanding all the differences, that's what you get. And at least he seemed to be willing to listen and understand what he did wrong. There's a whole population of people that don't.
And that population, most of them are older and don't want to change. They don't want to listen to what you have to say because they've already been indoctrinated to believe that what they say is right or the white race is superior. And that's it. There is no in between. There is no room for diversity here. You won't replace us. All that to say, stay woke.
The real meaning of woke, not the rights.
Right. So we're gonna move on. So we're gonna move on to our next topic, which is also politics, I believe.
Yeah, we gave you a little reprieve. We gave you a little VMAs last week. That was last.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to talk about this Biden's fascist speech. Fucking Biden and his shit.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we saw in the media. Okay, I'm just
yeah.
living through the headlines that you see across the bottom of your TV. So apparently there was a speech. Was it last Thursday? Yes, it was last Thursday. It wasn't very promoted or anything. It was just a speech. It wasn't like a State of the Union or we're going to war or something. No, it was just a speech. I'm assuming President Biden took his opportunity where he was elevated by passing recent legislation, and I think he took the momentum to really do something. Now, I don't know how many people saw it. I don't know how many people just read headlines because honestly, nobody kind of knew. I mean, they broke into primetime TV, but Thursday nights are like my mental health night. So I knew about it, but I still didn't watch it. But anyways, you can't disrupt your mental health night. Sorry. Um, so the right is painting this as just a complete insult to all Republicans. Where when you dissect the speech itself, that wasn't his goal. He was definitely hitting at the MAGA Republicans, some of the friends of the pod, MTG, Bobby Bubbit, whatever her name
Bobert?
Bobert,
I don't know.
The Cruzes of the world, the Rubios of the world. That's who he was talking to. He wasn't saying that every Republican out here is a MAGA Republican. He was telling you that the people that are being elected are doing MAGA-esque type of thing. Is that a word?
Sure.
I said a word last week. Did you say it wasn't a word? And it was a word. I'm just.
Yes, undependable is a word. Sorry.
So Biden's big push in this was just helping to say that this next election is not about a referendum on him as a president, but a choice between MAGA policy and him as somebody who is doing the work, even if we don't always agree on how far he's doing the work. Some people think he needs to do more. And I get that.
People will always want the president to do more. There are people still mad at Obama because he didn't do more. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me because this is a podcast. Do more for Black people. Like, Obama wasn't there just to make laws and
just for
things for Black people.
Beautiful example of what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
He was the president, he was a Black man, and he was elected as such. And he was there for all of us. And he made sure that was the case when he did policy.
Right.
And I get that sentiment the community has, but it shows like how government should work. It's not just for one specific race, one specific religion.
or one specific party.
Exactly. So Biden was definitely taking his shot at the MAGA Republicans. He called them extremists, or extremists, and the rise of their influence in positions of power across this country. It said election deniers are closer to controlling elections in key places. And as we've said many times watching the January 6 hearings, institutions of democracy may have held in 2020, but only because of the people that were running them.
And that is key because a lot of people that still believe the big lie are running for offices where they will have some influence or even just straight up control
Of the election,
over elections,
certifying.
which is super scary.
Right. And that's what he was talking about here. The election held in 2020.
Barely.
Look at it. Look at Georgia. Had the wrong person been in charge in Georgia, that could have been the difference in the election. Or any of the other states that were, air quotes, being contested for massive fraud.
And all of this because someone's pride was hurt.
Ooh, let me tell you.
Hillary was right.
Hillary was so right. Biden went on to say that, again, reinforcing that idea that this election is a choice, not a referendum. He said, MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards to an America where there was no right to choose, no right to privacy, no right to contraception, no right to marry who you love.
Agreed.
And again, he wasn't talking about Republicans. He was very clear in the MAGA Republicans. Okay, so I guess he was talking about some Republicans. But if you fall into that side of MAGA and you're let me correct that. If you're a Republican and you don't fall on the side of MAGA, then it doesn't affect you. He wasn't talking to you. Now, if you're going to go vote for this man again, then you're part of this problem because we're empowering the MAGA Republicans. Or not even as the president, the people in these elected officials, attorney generals, congressmen, senators. If you elevate these people because you only believe in the Republican Party and you elect a MAGA Republican, it's going to affect you. Just like women are being affected by the overturn of Roe versus Wade, right? Your right to choose your health care. So the Republicans went crazy. McCarthy was one of them. Biden needed to apologize. MTG wants to file articles of impeachment. I feel like she always wants to do that.
She always does. That's the first thing she runs to. I want to run articles of impeachment.
She has to have like lots of copies.
Bye.
Biden went on to say democracy cannot survive when one side believes there are only two outcomes to an election. Either they win or they were cheated.
And that there is the thing. Y'all are talking about stolen elections, and every day there's just more evidence mounting of how you all are planning and prepping for 2024. Because if things don't turn out the way that you think they should turn out, you are placing people in positions of power to where you can make it turn out that way. In fact, that would end democracy as we see it, because there would be no reason for anybody to run for office because we're going to fix it to go the way that we want it to go. Yeah. And how do we come back from that if it happens?
A war. Civil war. No, not a civil war.
I mean,
some kind of political war.
Yes. I don't know what would happen, but like, I don't want to get there.
I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it either. I want these people out of Washington.
Right. And listen, I don't have a problem. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Well, I was just going to add, we watched that that news clip the other day of how Marjorie Taylor Greene's district got expanded into an urban district because they like to play this game of we're going to change the lines. And
which has happened here in Florida.
It has happened here. And it's like Republicans are doing everything they can to never, as Nene Lee says, you can't win when you play dirty. And that's all they do is play dirty, but they also want to play the victim.
Right. Hence the speech.
Right.
And all I was going to say was, listen, I know there are good Republicans out there, and we will disagree on many things. I don't believe every Republican is a MAGA Republican. And I know that not every white person is a Republican, and so on and so forth. I know Latinos who are Republicans and slightly brush the line of MAGA. So all this is he is telling us what Hillary told us in 2016.
That bunch of deplorables.
Okay, let's not go there.
I mean, but she was right. And I feel like she shouldn't have apologized, but that's just me.
But she told us about the consequential events that will come of a 45 presidency.
Yeah. She told you about Roe versus Wade. She told you about the potential for gay marriage to be overturned.
She told us all.
About you losing your rights, period.
Pokemon, go to the poll.
And y'all didn't do it because y'all thought it was all fun and games and he was voting for gorillas and shit. And now 45 then came in here appointing judges.
Like the map to overturn an election wasn't there in 2020, but in 2022 or 24, it's going to be set.
And it's like no matter what you tell these people, they don't believe it. He lost. That's just plain and simple. You can't take this man at his word.
But there's one thing we always say in between us, and it's until it affects you,
you don't care.
And Texas is a good example. You're seeing lifelong Republicans still wearing a MAGA hat, saying, you have changed my mind to Beto.
Yeah.
Lifelong Republicans still wearing that damn hat. I don't know why. Maybe they just like the phrase "Make America Great Again." I don't know. But I'm just like, they see something affected them. And that's why now they're, and that's not the way it should be.
It's not the way it should be. We should be, even though we disagree, and everyone has the right to disagree,
mm-hmm.
but that doesn't mean that you take away the rights of another person because you don't necessarily agree with their lifestyle or the way they choose to live. Got nothing to do with you. If we were to pass a law where, you know, these MAGA people, you can't buy Budweiser and you can't own handguns, they would be ready to riot.
Yeah.
That's their main point is you can't take away my guns. And I keep saying, don't nobody want to take your guns. You can have your guns. We just don't need assault rifles. But that's a whole different topic.
That's a whole nother topic. Biden went on to say, not even a majority of Republicans are MAGA Republicans. Not every Republican embraces their extreme ideology. I know this because I've been able to work with these mainstream Republicans, but there's no question that the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country. That closing statement is like, he won't talk about every Republican.
Right.
He was talking about those very specific ones.
The extremists.
And if you're sitting there a little butthurt about it, then maybe you're teetering on that fine line.
As they say, a hit dog will holler. And if you don't know what that means, maybe you should Google.
The speech is a speech, and I was just interested in hearing it because it was being so fiery from the right, and I wanted to see what he said. And when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, well, I can see why that bothered you, Marjorie. I can see why that bothered you, Ted Cruz. I can see why that bothered you, Mr. McCarthy, because you're all in that camp.
I'm here for this energy that Biden is giving.
Bitch, no. I need Democrats to be more fiery. We always want to play, and I get bipartisanship and playing together in the same sandbox, but when these motherfuckers take charge, they don't even look in the left of the hall.
Right.
It is their game. The flag is risen, and we're playing a one-team sport.
Look, even yesterday, Biden called out Republicans who took credit for the infrastructure legislation that they opposed. They voted against it, but they taking credit for like new bridges and new roads being built in their states. And he's
I'm
like,
gonna take your money.
And he called them out for it. Like I said, I'm here for this new Biden energy. Y'all call him Dark Brandon on the internet.
Hey,
I'm here for Dark Brandon.
Let's make a movie.
All I say is keep it up. Keep it up the energy. Keep making them angry. Keep calling them out for the things that they do, because that's a lot of time Democrats don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to ruffle feathers.
Because they're thinking about the next election.
And we're here now. We have power now. Just like when they get power, they all band together and start passing things left and right. We can never do that.
Justices.
Exactly. And that's why we're in the place that we're in now. Because y'all want to play all nice. We're not playing nice anymore.
I'm here for Dark Brandon.
I'm here for it too.
I'll buy a button that says that.
Let's go.
So this was a good discussion. We knew it would be a little bit more tame than our normal.
A little more tame?
A little more tame, it was more, I don't know. It wasn't as jokey. But it's a serious conversation that needs to be had, because this midterm and the next presidential election will decide the outcome and the direction of this country for many years to come.
Right.
And if you're a MAGA Republican, I'm not changing your mind.
And you're probably not listening to this because you probably didn't get this far anyway.
Right. And if you are, you're probably like throwing stones on our social.
And that's fine, girl. Make sure you like and subscribe.
But for our independent friends, our Republicans that can go either way, take a look. Like, sit down and look at all the stuff that's happening and who it may affect. It could be one of your best friends.
A family member.
A family member. Stop voting by party and just realize that, unfortunately, the left right now is going to be our cushion. And I've talked about this before. They may not be doing it all for the right reasons, but I at least know that they're not going to pass more bills that's going to disenfranchise me as a person of color and as a member of the gay community.
Right. And just because they didn't come for your rights today don't mean they won't come for them tomorrow.
Girl, they is ready. They probably have folders. Marjorie Taylor has her impeachment. She loves that. Anyway,
she can kick rocks with open-toed shoes. So we're gonna move on to something a little fun. We like to switch it up.
Yeah, I love technology. So we're gonna talk about technology.
Yeah, we're gonna talk tech. Tech talk.
TED Talk. Wait, no, don't say TED Talk.
Not TED Tech.
Oh, they'll be like, cease and desist, motherfuckers.
Girl, if y'all listening, then again, like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and listen to the other episodes.
So something that we're excited about, we're a Google household. We have, I don't know how many Google homes in this house.
Google knows
it's one in almost every room. This is true. But I mean, they already do. So
Google can write a book.
What's the point?
About Shawn and Manny.
We're excited about the Google Pixel. There is a Google event on October the 6th. They will be talking about the Pixel 7, 7 Pro, the Google Watch, and maybe some other things that we kind of know about, may not know about. Again, we are a Google household. I have had almost every Google phone. I did start taking like a year in between. Not last year, the year before last, when I was supposed to get one, they came out with the Pixel 5. I didn't really care for it because they didn't have a Pro version or an XL version. COVID, yeah. So I went to Samsung, got an S21 Ultra. It's a very nice phone. I was a little scared about it because I'm so used to just like pure Android. And for you Apple people, I'm sorry. This is
a Android house.
Y'all had an event the other day. I heard y'all got some new things. I heard you can customize it a little bit more. So
I do like
congrats.
The thing they're doing on the iPhone with like the punch hole of the camera. It's like a screen.
Yeah. That may be coming to another Google phone that's not Pixel 7.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It's
because
cute.
people always complaining about notches.
People hate a notch.
Whatever.
But they also hate like a little round circle. Like
we have a cutout on our phones.
You can't make people happy. I don't know what you want from me.
I'm excited because I do love my S22.
21.
Ultra. But I do miss the pure Android experience. You get so much more on pure Android than you do on phones that are not sponsored, but have Android iOS.
Yeah.
OS, not iOS. So I'm excited to just go back to that because on this phone, it's like, which calendar app would you like to open? I'm like, bitch, the Google one. I don't use anything Samsung on this phone. Like,
I do hate that.
Let me delete this shit. I don't need 2 contacts. I don't need 2 phones. I don't need 2 camera things. Anyways, I'm very excited about this phone. I like the colors, even though the color I want is not in the Pro version. But I'm excited to have full Google Assistant on my phone.
I'm excited for the assistant to answer those spam calls for me again.
Yes. The Google subscriber, please say your first and last name and reason for calling. And then it patches it through. And if it doesn't like it, your ass gets hung up on.
I miss that so much.
I miss it so much. But hopefully October 6th, we'll know. We're definitely buying them unless it changes from what they've already shown.
Yeah. I mean, which they haven't shown much. They've just shown the body of it. We know that it will be running the 2nd generation Tensor chip, which is Google's own chip, which they started doing on the Pixel 6. So always get 2nd generation with Google.
Yeah, we're diehard Android, but get a Gen
2. Always generation 2.
We have experience.
In other tech news, Tesla has raised the price of full self-driving to $15,000.
Guess I ain't buying that.
I mean, we weren't going to buy it anyway.
True.
A fun fact: we are Tesla owners.
We're not rich.
We're not rich. But if Tesla is listening, they want to be a sponsor. We'll read an ad.
Oh, Elon, I got issues with you, but if you want to sponsor me,
I will take your money.
I'll take your money. Actually, I'll take a Model Y.
Why not an X?
Oh, you scratch that. Delete that. I will take a Model X Plaid.
So for those of you who aren't into the Tesla world, full self-driving is basically, I'm sure you've heard about it, the program where you purchase a software upgrade that goes to your car that allows your car to drive you from one destination to another without you having to do much interaction with the car besides giving it the go ahead at green lights. That is still a thing. It's been in beta for a bit now.
A lot of years.
Well, it wasn't. Okay, there's different phases of it.
Right.
And so, like, the beta of it now is released to a wider selection of people.
Well, and they did recreate the whole software.
They did. They started from the ground up.
They didn't like it and they threw it out.
The software is amazing. I mean, I won't lie. I don't know when we will get to the point where you can just hop in your car and, take a nap and you arrive at your destination. I don't know when we're going to get there. He is pushing for us to get there. Every new release, I guess you get a little bit closer, but most people think it's still years away.
I think 15,000 is a bit.
15,000 is a lot of money, especially
it's not
since
there yet,
Especially since, and this is my gripe with this, is that it's not transferable to a new car. So if you bought another Tesla and you sold your old one, you have to pay $15,000 again to get full self-driving. And I feel like that is something that they really need to change.
Yeah, because it's not cheap.
It is not cheap.
Not cheap at all.
So full self-driving, there's also autopilot, which is what every car gets. Autopilot is free when you buy the car, and it basically keeps your car in the lane. It will monitor traffic, so you don't have to use the brake. The car will automatically brake for you. It will automatically go for you. You do have to stop at stop signs and traffic lights.
And it's not recommendable on city streets, so is it?
I don't know. You can use it on city streets.
Yeah, you can. But
unlike some other.
I don't trust it, yo. Sorry.
I use autopilot a lot. Well, mostly I use it when I'm on the freeway.
Yeah, I'm on the freeway and I still get nervous. That's my anxiety, though.
I mean, I've never really had an issue with using it.
I haven't either when I've used it, but
right. But you get nervous about
my anxiety gets when there's like two trucks on the left and right. I'm like, oh my god, I'm taking over.
But yeah, well, I'm looking forward to what progresses out of full self-driving. I'm looking forward to the Cybertruck, which is launching next year from Tesla.
Oh, I like this new update with we can move the
blind spot camera.
Oh my god, it's great. It's so eye level now. Yeah. Love it.
So yeah, that's the great thing about Teslas is like you get an update. I want to say maybe once a month or every 2 months that improves your car.
Yeah.
The day you buy your car is the dumbest your car will be. It only gets better over time. And unlike most gas vehicles, like you buy a certain car year, like you buy a 2019, and then in 2022 they put in, I don't know, TVs in the back seat. But you know, you gotta buy the whole car to get the TVs. With Teslas, is like you buy it
and it's going to keep getting upgraded.
And it just keeps getting upgraded. Your software just keeps getting better without you having to buy a whole vehicle.
I mean, there'll be eventually the hardware will change, but
yeah, eventually the hardware will change. And sometimes they make minor cosmetic changes to the inside of the car.
That happened after we bought.
Yeah, it did. But for the most part, like the cars kind of stay the same. And I like that about it.
Yeah. It's a very minimalist car. I hate buttons and
yeah, I don't put all this plastic stuff in my car.
Half of it I can't have it unless I pay you more money anyways.
Right. And I know some people don't like that as minimalist. They don't like everything is on the touch screen. I get it.
I don't.
Everything ain't for everybody.
I get that. But I don't get it. Why do you want your car just cluttered with knobs and you can just do everything on a fucking screen? It's great.
Right.
Anyways, if you are an Apple fan, though, go check out your new phones. You got 4 to choose from. 2 pros, 2 not pros. I assume the non-pros are plasticier than the pros.
I have no idea what's happening.
I think there was like 3 new watches and a new earbuds.
Are they still looking like Q-tips or not?
You know what? I didn't. No, remember they went with the shorter buddy thing now.
Those are like the pros, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know. I can't keep up.
Sorry, when we say we're Android, we're very much Android. We don't. But check it out. That was our tech corner that we're talking today. And that's about as much as I can give you on the iPhone. I know there's 4 new phones, 3 watches, and a new earbuds. And yeah, check it out. Give all your money to Apple.
All right. All right. So before we get out of here, what is... Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You
what is something that has kept you going this week or something positive?
Wow. This week? You know, I had a lot of things.
You did.
I did. But on my Meditation Thursday.
Oh, man. That was called Meditation Thursday.
Wait, what did I call it for? Mental Health.
Mental Health Thursday. But I like Meditation Thursday. It's cute.
We'll go with that. I looked up the Obamas were invited to the White House to unveil their portraits about 7 years later. But I wouldn't have gone back during that presidency either to unveil my portrait.
I've been like, invitation declined. No, thank you.
But anyways, the Obamas finally came. It was a reunion. President Barack Hussein Obama.
You better say his full
Yes.
name.
Met up with President Joe Biden and Dr. Biden, First Lady Michelle Obama. And the thing I am living for was her speech. We all know President Obama does great speech. I read both of them. Michelle's, holy fucking shit. Amazing, amazing, amazing speech. I'm going to read a little bit. I have to. She says, and too often in this country, people feel like they have to look a certain way or act a certain way to fit in. That they have to make a lot of money or come from a certain group of class or faith in order to matter. But what we're looking at today, a portrait of a biracial kid with an unusual name and the daughter of a water pump operator and a stay-at-home mom. What we're seeing is a reminder that there's a place for everyone in this country. Because as Barack said, if the two of us can end up on the walls of the most famous address in the world, then again, it is so important for every young kid who is doubting themselves to believe that they can too. And that was like the premise of her speech. Beautiful speech. I don't cry very often, but my eyes did water as I was reading because it was perfect. It is the moment we are in, and she was bringing awareness, not so much in a political way, but bringing awareness to the real things that are happening in this country, kind of like we talked about at the beginning of the pod. It was such a beautiful speech. I'm going to throw it on social. If you want to read it, go read it. Do yourself a favor. Scroll towards the bottom. I believe she was the second last to talk. You can listen to President Obama's. He had a few cute jokes in there. But her speech is where it's at. Beautiful. So I am living for that because we need more of that. We're not hearing more of that in our country right now. So we're doing the legendary Laomi. Oh, how did you describe this?
Applause.
It's an applause, but she's applauding with her thumb and her middle finger. Okay? Kind of like the NC State Wolf Pack, but take off a finger. Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm excited too. College football is back. Woo!
Yay!
Yes. USF.
Sports.
Go Bulls. They lost 50 something to 21, but my other team, Florida State, won. That's
okay.
Great.
Congratulations to Florida State.
Yes. Yeah. See? Oh, look at that. Bonus. Something you may not have known about me. I actually do sit and watch football. I yell at the TV. I throw a temper tantrum. You can ask Sean.
Yeah. Or a dog.
I scare Kenji.
Kenji's like, what is happening? Why are you screaming at the TV?
Anyways, what's something positive that you're living for or something wonderful that has tapped your little hearty heart this week?
I mean, I'm living for being on vacation in a few days. I'm really trying to get through this week and next week, I guess.
Just 4 working days.
I know, but they're stacked.
I know.
I'm trying to get through that. Something fun, I guess. I'm a gamer. I play games, and today is, yep. Thursday. I play a game called Multiverses, which is a game that combines a bunch of characters from a bunch of universes to fight each other. And this Thursday, Gizmo was released from the Gremlins.
Yes.
And if you don't know what the Gremlins are, you should really go check it out. It's a fun 80s movie. I don't know if it's for kids. The sequel, Gremlins 2, the new batch, is basically a comedy, so the kids can watch that. But Gizmo is super cute and fun to play. I don't know. So it was a highlight for me.
Yeah, whatever makes you happy. If you want to play with Gizmo, play with Gizmo.
It's cute because he drives a little Corvette from the first movie.
Oh.
He shoots a bow and arrow. He sings.
I did watch these movies.
I don't know. It was really super cute.
He's cute, but he's not very nice.
Gizmo is super sweet.
Am I thinking about the other Gremlins?
You might be thinking about Stripe, the one with the mohawk.
Oh, okay.
Because if you watch Gremlins, you don't feed them after midnight and don't get them wet.
Since I was a kid, so I couldn't tell you much.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah.
Well, I know you guys are sad. This is the end of today's episode. I know you love listening to us.
Yeah, but we'll be back.
That just means you have to come back the following Sunday and download that fresh new episode and follow us on your pod networks because you will receive a notification of the newly released pod. Or you can follow us on social.
Yeah, you can follow us on Instagram at Moss_podcast.
Or you can go on over to the Twitter and do Moss_podcast22.
Or if you have questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, you can email us at mannyandsean@gmail.com. MANNYANDSHAWN@gmail.com.
If you're a mad Republican, you can write us too.
No, you can't. I mean, you can, but I'm going to put it in the draft.
I may read it and then use some content from it.
Okay, fine. I'd read it and then maybe put it in the draft.
Anyway. Well, as we always like to say here at the Moss Podcast,
do something good for yourself.
Yes. Even if it is a Mental Health Thursday.
Or Meditation Wednesday.
Then do something good for someone else. Yeah. And what I mean by that, I may need to clarify. I don't mean go buy something for somebody. Like check in on a friend maybe you haven't talked to in a while. Send them a quick text.
Yeah. Or maybe even, just buy yourself dinner.
Well, that's what you would do for yourself.
I mean,
oh, you were covering that.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were still trying to clarify my point.
No. Or you can buy somebody else dinner.
Yeah.
You can get a 2 for 1 and then drop by your friend like, girl, I got you something.
Yeah. Wait, make sure they okay with you coming over because myself and I have a friend.
Yeah.
Both of us are like, don't show up at my door without telling me.
Well, yeah. I mean, text, call first. Be like, hey, I got you something. And then they be like, oh, because more than likely they're going to want a gift. Most people do.
A gift?
Yeah. I got you something.
Oh. Okay.
And then you show up with a burger.
You know what? I may just send you a little gift card from what's that thing called? DoorDash, and then you can order your own food. And
that's a good idea.
Yeah. See, it doesn't have to be that intense,
expensive or extravagant.
Let's take care of each other because
all we got.
The world just keeps getting darker. Oh, I forgot. The Queen. The Queen passed away.
Oh yes, the Queen passed.
May she rest.
R.I.P. to the Queen.
R.I.P. to the Queen.
Hail to the King.
Now it's Hail to the King. Bitch, they changed that real quick.
Real quick.
They don't change the national anthem. They're like, bitch, it is now Hail the Queen, all hail the King. They'll take the Queen out of everything. Just scratch it, delete it, white it out, whatever.
Yeah. Sad news.
Yeah, it is sad.
But
she seems to have lived a good life.
She did. I mean, she was 96. That's a
great year. That's a great time frame. I mean, we saw her Tuesday meeting the new prime minister, and I didn't even think she was ill.
I mean, every time I saw the Queen, she was very spry and looked like she was full of life. She loved to smile and laugh. To that time, Melania and Donald came, and that bitch had the nerve to walk in front of her.
She was ready to hit him with her purse.
Bitch, do you know where you at?
She always had a purse.
She did.
All right, y'all. Well, rest in peace to the Queen and to the people. I guess there's a very long period of mourning now and a whole procession.
Yeah, sure.
No, I was reading an article.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It happens. I read sometimes. Anyways, y'all, it's been a pleasure having you with us. Please come back in, like, subscribe, send us on social.
Yes, please follow us on social.
Thanks for your continued support. We truly appreciate it.
We do. Thank you to all our listeners in all different countries. Love you guys for the support.
I'm going out. Wait, I'm coming. I was trying to think of a song. I was like fucking around with the song.
I'm coming out?
I know. I figured that out after I said it correctly, okay? Anyways, y'all, have a great week. Take care of yourselves.
Bye.
See you on the next one. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. I'm gonna let it show. And I don't know anything after that point.
Bye, y'all.
Wanna hear you go.